Awesome. Well, welcome on in, everyone. Welcome on in. Hope you all are doing well and hope you're having an amazing Thursday so far. This is the Thursday Masterclass with Coach Heaven, and we are so happy you are all here. We're just getting everyone in the Zoom room now. And if you see this live on Facebook, jump into the Zoom room. If you just put Zoom room in the chat, we'll get you the Zoom link right away. But yeah, if you don't know me, I am Matthew, the production manager for Coach Heaven. And for those who are new here and are still getting to know Coach Heaven, she has over 20 years of experience as a business mentor, sales strategist, and is a prophetic voice for Christian entrepreneurs who are ready to scale with peace, purpose, and profit. And that is exactly what she's going to be teaching on today. So we're so excited everyone's here. Before we get into the teaching, though, just some quick housekeeping. If you are able to have your cameras on, that would be amazing, just so that we can see your amazing face and so that you're ready and present and ready to go for action. Also, please be muted unless you are called up on by Coach Heaven, and there will be time for questions at the end. Please be respectful as well. We want this to be a safe place, so no swearing, no profanity. This is a family-friendly environment. And yeah, if we could have, I see Emily, welcome on in. But yeah, if we could have your cameras on, that would be amazing. And yeah, Coach Heaven today is going to be teaching on how to make more money with fewer sales conversations. And we're also going to be having a love seat today, which is Coach Heaven's version of a hot seat. And we will be choosing one person to help with a real sales conversation that you are either you have done or you are doing right now and in the midst of. So if you want to be that person, just put love seat in the chat, and we will get one of you up later on in the teaching. But yeah, without further ado, I think we're just going to jump right into the teaching, and I'm going to pass it straight over to Coach Heaven.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So excited to see you guys here. Before we dive in on how to make more money with fewer sales conversations, I just want to shape who is this for. So this training is for anyone who is a kingdom entrepreneur who desires to bring impact and income to their family, but really to fund the dreams that God has for you. And that means if you're a coach, a consultant, a creative, you're in therapy, insurance, you are a publisher, you're in the leadership space, real estate, creative services, or anything in between, that this will be great for you. So have you ever walked into a conversation knowing that you could help somebody, but you left without a yes? Is that you? Anyone here had that happen? Put me in the chat. Because no matter what industry you're in, the truth is still the same. The truth is still the same. People don't say yes because you explain things well. People say yes because they feel seen. Can I get an amen in the chat? They trust you. And they believe the transformation is worth the price point. And that's what we're going to learn today, how to create a repeatable system on purpose every single time. So let's get started. Let me ask you something. How many of you have ever felt like you're doing all the right things? Now, what do you mean, Coach Heaven, by all the right things? Drop a yes in the chat if you feel like you've got the heart, you've got skill, you've got an offer, you're posting, you're showing up every single day, but somehow things are not clicking. When I say not clicking, if you are not at six figures in 90 days or at $1 million in a year, something's not clicking. I had a lady yesterday message me and say, "Oh, I don't have any problem with sales." She doesn't have any clients. Well, of course you're not going to have any problems yet in sales if you have no clients. What I discovered is this: you don't need more leads. Somebody put this in chat. You don't need more leads. You need more meaningful conversations. But before we dive in, today, as Matthew shared, my team is going to be choosing one person and maybe two for a live love seat today. So this is 8 minutes total of coaching, and that is worth $10,000. Not in theory, real strategic coaching around a conversation that didn't convert or a place you feel stuck in your sales flow. So if you want that kind of support, you're going to put love seat in the chat because Matthew is going to prioritize and the rest of my team as well. And if you never experienced a love seat with me before, well, this is where I help you see what you can't see. Somebody put help you see what you can't see in the chat. And if you are streaming live, or if you are seeing this live and you are in the group and you want to be a part of this and be a part of a real meaningful sales conversation, put me and Facebook, my team will watch for you, or any other platform. So the truth is, we don't fix surface level issues. We find the gap between the belief you think you're transferring and the one your client actually needs. I'm going to say that again. We don't fix surface level issues. We find the gap in between. And that gap is between the belief you think you're transferring to someone and the one your client actually needs. How many of you here have been trained to overcome sales objections? Just put me in the chat, because I know you've been trained in this, right? Some of the objections you've heard are, I have to talk to my spouse. I don't have time. I don't have money, blah, 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 blah. And they are above the surface answers, above the surface objections. And we've been trained to overcome those when those are not even the issues that are going on. Put curious in the chat. So let's start. Why more leads are not the problem? Why is it that more leads are not the problem? Right? This is what you've been taught. You've been taught that, well, you just need more leads. Most of you know a little bit about my story, right? I had a great coach years ago who gave me kind of a good start. I ended up being one of her coaches, one of her first 10 coaches. And then I hired a very high-level coach. Somebody put high-level coach in the chat for the last number of years. And in that, I've learned so much. One of the things is that you can scale. You can scale with sales skills. Somebody put sales skills in the chat. That I scaled to my first million with only 300 people in a Facebook group. So if you think, you give me any excuse. Guys, give me your excuse while you're not succeeding right now. Just put it in the chat. And I can almost promise you that I've gone through that, right? 10 kids under 13, lost everything at one time, had to rebuild my whole life, homeschooling all my kids during COVID as a single parent. I tell you, I can match it. So if I can do it, you can do it too. Say, I can do it in the chat. So here's the myth. The myth is, if you want to grow your business, you need more leads. I'm sure you've heard that. Put yes in the chat. But what if the belief that you need more leads is actually keeping you stuck? Let's pause for a second. How many people did you talk this week to about your offer? Put the number in the chat. How many? How many of those conversations actually felt connected? Like they trusted you, like they were ready to move and buy your offer? Put that in the chat. Most people are in constant motion. And if this is you, right, God reveals so he can heal. God reveals so he can heal. I am going to create the Mindful Christian Bible one day, guys. So hold me to that. Most people are in constant motion. They're posting, they're promoting, they're tweaking their funnels, but they're not actually creating movement or closing sales. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're a whirling dervisher? You're just like moving around. There's all this noise. Because volume without connection is just noise. Somebody put volume without connection is just noise. So what would change if you had only 5 or 10 really good people to talk to this week? Let's think about that. Let's just think 5. We're prophetic people. We're people of God. We have wisdom. We can see into things. I know some of you personally who are here in this room. I know how gifted you are. That you can look at people in your inbox and you can already go, I don't think that's a great fit for me. So what if you leaned in and had more meaningful conversations with 5 people? And what if 3 of them became clients? What's your price point? Put your price point here in the chat. What's your price point? Do you have a $1 million offer? Do you have a $997 offer? Put that in the chat. What if you dialed in and had 5 meaningful sales conversations that turned into 3 sales? If your price point is around the 1,000, I mean 10,000, we can look at that, which is my lowest offer. But $1,000 price point, you could be doing 3,000 a week. Come on, guys. Would 12,000 a month change things for you? Put yes in the chat if you're not at six figures already. If you've done six-figure days and you want to learn how to scale up, absolutely connect with me. If you have not got to six figures in 90 days, there is something that needs to shift. Or the current person that's mentoring you is not being truthful with you or not coaching you accurately, because it could be at six figures in 90 days. So what would change? Like, just think about that. What would change for your peace? Would your peace change? Would your schedule change? Would your finances change? Would your relationships in your family change? Would your conversations change? You don't need more people. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need leads. I'm not saying that we don't need to connect with people. And those of you first time hearing, I call leads the to love list, because lead sounds like an entrepreneurial booty call. And I don't want to be one of them, and I don't think you do either. We don't need more people. We need more presence, and we need skill sets. Somebody put presence plus skill sets in the chat. Because sales is actually about currency. Put currency in the chat. Sales is about currency, not convincing. I want to shift a mindset for you here, because many of you, even if you've had excellent training, I was reflecting this morning years ago when I was in financial services sector a long time ago, before I was even a family law mediator. I was in financial services, and I had the most amazing mentor in Primerica. And at that time, he was doing about $50,000 a month, and he just took me under his wing. It's actually when I got baptized in the Holy Spirit, and I spoke in tongues for 3 days. I couldn't even speak English. That was just from being in his presence, going around and learning how to do sales calls. Now, I was really blessed because I was trained, but I learned a lot during that season. I learned how to slow it down. So I want to help you shift here. If you haven't had that experience like I had, Jim Bowen, if you're listening, if you haven't had that experience with somebody who's excellent and really is cared about you and has taught you the best way, I'm here to share some good news today. Sales isn't about trying to get someone to say yes. And it isn't about pitching your offer. It's not pitching your offer. It's not convincing. It's not even sharing. Have you been taught that sharing is selling? We're just going to share. We're just going to educate. Educating is not selling. Sales is uncovering the currency of your clients so well that they're actually happy to buy. When was the last time you were a happy buyer? And I'm going to poke a little bit today, guys. Say permission to poke in the chat. But if you are not a happy buyer, I want you to understand there is a correlation, because the way you buy is the way you sell. Put that in the chat. The way you buy is the way you sell. It's about uncovering what they already want. Uncovering what they already want. And we do that through asking questions to reveal their emotional currency. Put emotional currency in the chat. You're not going to find this anywhere on the internet. I call it the currency of the client, because you want to uncover what's valuable to them. You want to uncover what is going on for them in their heart. Every person is rich in something. Some people are rich in fear. Can I get an amen in the chat? Some people are rich in gossip. Ooh! Some people are rich in legacy, and I love meeting those people. Some people are rich in desire, but everyone has something valuable that drives their decision-making process. So we want to do this together. I want you to think about your signature client, your prospect. I always call it a signature client, because we want to be thinking about that person in terms of their future self. You're actually guiding them into a decision they already desire to make. And so that's why sales is a skill. Selling is actually a skill. If you have been taught or you have been thought, had the belief that somehow selling wasn't holy, I'm here to teach you the opposite today. Selling is the most holy process you can bring somebody through. I can't think of something that is more honoring about boundaries. Selling is a boundary. It's saying, I am not working with you until you have the boundary of paying the price. And people that pay attention. Put that in the chat. So think about what does your client need to think and believe? So I want you to focus on that. What does your client need to think and believe in order to buy? What do they need to think and believe? There is a lot that is going on for your client. There is so much that is in their world that when you meet them, they have all of this dreams and fears and beliefs. They've had people who have, it hasn't worked out with. They've had coaches that haven't been great mentors. They've had situations that haven't worked out. They've had spouses that didn't believe in them. They have things that are going on in their world. There's things that they want to do. They want to take their kids to Disney, or they want to be able to buy a house or send their kids to Christian school, but they're also worried about the last time that they started. So this is what's going on for your prospect or your future signature client. This is where they're at. And when you have a conversation with them and you try to share your presentation, somebody put your presentation in the chat. What you're doing is you're just taking a basket that's already full and you're overloading them. So when they say something like, I need to think about it, what are they really saying? What are they really saying? They're saying, I'm overwhelmed. You haven't asked me anything about me. So let's think about this in a different way, right? What is something that is so important to your client? Now, some of the words you might think of are here, right? Their emotional currency is like freedom or peace, security, significance, redemption, legacy, desire, belonging, clarity, relief, hope, rest, abundance, impact, confidence, breakthrough. Could we get more granular? I think that if I read one more I help statement that is so bland, it tastes like pork chops and like really bad baked potatoes. Can I get a oh my in the chat? We don't want to sound like that. We want to uncover what's going on. So what if instead we asked questions? So we look at their basket and you take one thing out at a time. Somebody put one at a time in the chat. One at a time. One at a time. And you unfold it. Somebody put unfold. Right? Like we have a saying in our home, conflict is the gate to greater intimacy. Conflict is the gate to greater intimacy. And it's actually, conflict is a knot that you get to unravel. Conflict is a knot you get to unravel. Your client in you, you have a bit of a tension. You have something that they need. You don't want to be the kind of person that just says, hey, I got a great deal for you. Look at this, only blah, 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 by midnight. Don't get me started on fake urgency. You want to be the kind of person who shows up like Jesus and asks questions like, what's important to you right now? Or what's this costing you emotionally? So maybe you have someone who is in the financial services and they're not investing and they're hoarding all their money under their bed. And I'm just making that up, Kim, but I'm sure there's some farmers out there that have got all their cash under their mattress. They've got some unbelief. They've got some things that are going on. And if they invested, their life would change. So you have to like unravel, right? Well, curious, what is this costing you? What is this costing you emotionally? What is this costing you financially? What if you had a return on that investment that brought you in an extra $300,000? Would that help to send any of your grandkids to law school? Just curious. We want to unravel one at a time. And so if you're unraveling one at a time, so here's a few questions here, and I want you to lean in and listen. What becomes possible if this was solved? Number 3, are you open to finding a real solution right now? Are you open to the possibility of a real solution? You may be the only person who has had the courage, and I want you guys to say courage plus skills. Because you can have courage and go in, but you don't have the skills and you don't know how to unravel. You can be brave, but if you don't have the skill to unravel, the skill to ask questions, the skill to respond in meaningful ways, somebody put meaningful ways one at a time, and unravel. Are you guys catching this? Somebody put catching this in the chat. Because if you leave yourself to the mercy of not going beneath the surface of what's really going on, and you only focus on the objections that are, they look like they're the objection. Somebody put it, look like, right? It looks like they're the objection, but it's actually not the objection. It's not what's really going on for them right now. Maybe they think that the problem is that they need more time to think. How many of you have had clients say, it's not the right time, and you've walked away? Put me in the chat. Somebody says, oh, I really can't afford this, and you just stop the conversation. Put me. Somebody says, oh, I need to talk to my spouse, but he's deployed in Uganda, and I won't be able to talk to him for 3 months. And so you walked away. These are what look like what's going on. It's not what's really going on. So I'm going to talk to you about some things that are common mistakes that I see entrepreneurs make. Let me see if I can get this working right. Right? There are things that are going on above the surface. So this is what you've been taught. If you've had a coach, and I'm just so thankful for the people that have helped you. But if you're like me, you have been taught that the objections, and even in my high level coaching experiences that I've had, this is what they have also taught. That it is, I have to talk to my spouse. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I don't really, I don't know if this is the right thing. I've been hurt before. There's been like a couple, and they sound like the solution. They sound like the objection, but it's not actually the objection. So we're going to look at the 3 mistakes that actually block your sales. And I want you to lean in to, and couple this with like the above, right? Above, I've asked you some things already. I hope you're starting to do this for yourself. You're not just listening to this. This is life-changing. This will actually change your whole business. And you guys who know me know that I actually teach and equip you instead of just trying to move you along in the same thing. I really want you to have breakthrough today. So put breakthrough in the chat. Because people don't buy coaching, they buy relief from pain, right? They're buying access to a future that they hope is still possible. And again, the questions that I want you to be thinking about as we move into the blocking sales is, what's this costing you right now for you to ask your clients? What becomes possible if it is solved? And are you open to finding a real solution right now? As well as what do they really need to think and believe in order for them to buy? So the 3 mistakes that block sales calls. So again, there is no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. And if you're doing any of this, just see it as I'm so thankful I'm being taught and I am getting feedback so that I can have iterations towards mastery. Somebody put iterations in the chat. I wish that this is what was taught in school, but I think the misindoctrination, miseducation, AKA public schools, they focus on shaming and they focus on you feeling bad that you don't know things. And so some people just pretend and sit quiet for all 12 years and try to get by or memorize things. And other people may have a few people through that process are great parents that help them. I want you to understand that exposure is for you to be able to get better, for you to see what the gaps are in your learning, your understanding, and your sales process. So, what's in the way of what's blocking you? So, talking too soon. If you're connecting with somebody in the sell by chat process, somebody put sell by chat in the chat in the bot in the box in the bottom. If that's you, it's probably because you just have not been shown how, right? If you're starting to share your offer too soon, anybody, is that you? Right? You'll find that people will say, this sounds amazing. I just need to think about it. And when you start to talk too soon and you explain your program too quickly and you share the information and you're sharing all the benefits of it, again, we go back to that overflowing basket. They're already on full. And if we don't remove half of the basket through question asking, they will not have space for our offer. Can somebody see this? Put I see this in the chat. There isn't any room. When you explain your program before they feel seen, when you give the why before they've even confirmed that this matters to them. Ever had a conversation with someone and they go right into sharing something without even asking you a question about what's important to you right now? The last one, right? If you over-explain too early. If you're finding that you're even having to over-explain, it's because you haven't taken the time to carefully unravel and unfold what is actually important to them. Number 2, you're misunderstanding the objection. When someone says, I need to think about it, they're not saying no. Boom. They're not saying no. They're actually waiting for you to be able to come in and ask them some questions. It's the beginning. Somebody put it's the beginning. When someone says, I need to think about it, you can go in and ask and unravel questions. They're not saying no. They're saying, I don't believe this will work for me yet. That's not rejection. It's a reflection of an unanswered question. Okay, objections, write this down, are questions that you allowed to fester and didn't bring up to the surface proactively. You must bring them up to the surface proactively. And mistake number 3 is treating sales like a transaction. This is okay. So again, if you have a $15 product, my process is probably not what you're looking for. If you have a $1,000 coaching program, if you have access to, you want to help invest millions of dollars of funds, if you're in insurance, like I said above, if you're a publisher, a coach with a high offer, it is worth it to slow it down. Take the time to find out what's important to your client. When you come into a conversation, trying to close instead of trying to understand, you turn something sacred into something stressful. Sales is not performance, it's leadership, it's presence, and it's maturity. Now, some of you may not actually have that problem. I think there's a lot of you here that are quite heart-centered, and so you will this is the authority axis, this is connection. So many of you wouldn't be that hardcore closer, coming in, trying to pitch and convince. Okay, so if that's you, if you're a pitcher, convincer, put HCC in the chat. It's okay. This is like a AA sales meeting here. We can come up and say, hi, it's been 4 days since I pitched my offer to someone, right? Like we can get clean and sober, guys, in the sales department here. But many of you likely act as a friend. Can I get friend in the chat? Friend. That you're nice and you're kind and you're thoughtful and you are not selling. Selling is a skill. Nobody needs just a friend to just be nice to them. They want people who are in authority and warm and build rapport and trust and like. Some of you may coach on a call. Can I get the coaches repenting in the chat? That you are helping them already. Like, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? You are giving up. You are helping already. Okay? It's kind of like having sex before marriage. You're giving it away, guys. So let's restrict the oil and be an advocate. When we can be an advocate, it's very comfortable because you're just assessing. You're finding out. You're in a discovery mode. You're asking questions to see if it is a good fit. And then once you know that it is, you're going to help them over their belief bridge. And you're going to unpack with them what is actually going on for them. This is your bridge of belief. Once you know they're a good fit, so your job first as an advocate, once you know, then your next job is to walk them over their unbelief. That might be, again, their fears. It could be their worries. It could be, I may not be able to be at home or really get to know my own children because I'm working 2 jobs. You want to uncover everything that is going on for your client and help them in the best way that you can. So which one do you feel like you are bumping into most? Are you showing up as a coach? Are you showing up as an advocate? Like really being firm and asking as though you are the doctor for whatever it is, for trauma, for relationship, as a wealth coach. Are you being the doctor? Or are you just kind of being a nice friend? Are you coaching already before they've asked? And we want to be friendly. So guys, please don't hear what I'm not saying. We want to be friendly, but we're the authority. Thank you for being honest, everyone. Okay, team, we're at the love seat time where we can bring somebody in. And I want you to think, whoever that is that's going to be coming in, I want you to be thinking about, and for all of you. So a good love seat, a good group coaching, we all feel, just like a pastor, we can feel like we could, you ever showed up to a church service and you're like looking around going, is he talking to me? He's talking to all of us, but it feels very personal. Same with coaching. We want to have that experience. So I want you to think about a real sales conversation that didn't convert. And I want to uncover with you what was really going on for them. All right, Matthew.
Awesome. All right. I think I saw Danielle first, so we'll bring her up. How are you doing, Danielle?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, lovely.
Hi.
Good to see you.
I'm not quite
All
prepared with my
right.
question. But
Well, you can have a question, but I also want you to think about, and you can combine the two
yeah.
perhaps, but think about a time when it didn't go the way you thought it was going
Yeah.
to. Share about that.
I would say, yeah, this happened actually recently. There was a person that was very interested. We started to have a conversation, and I have to admit, it was kind of like during the 4th of July weekend. So we started to have a conversation, and then we got up to the portion of the cost factor. She just happened to ask, and I provided her the cost options that I have available. So then she said, "Oh, thank you very much." Then afterwards, I didn't hear anything from her. I did come back and ask her if I forgot exactly what I said. Something about if you have any questions or something I had asked her, but I haven't received a response yet.
All right. Well, I love all of that,
Mhm.
and I think I can help. May I coach you?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so she came into your world, and I want everyone to write this down, right? Content without context brings confusion. So when we share our price point without a PDF or a sales video or some kind of context, it brings confusion, right? Like if you were to ask, what does, if you're going to go on a trip, you said, okay, well, how much is the trip? And somebody said, well, it's $15,000. Well, you don't know. You don't know. Is that like in the middle of the wilderness in a tent? Is that with a limousine service from the airport? So content without context brings confusion. So that would be number one. I would ask yourself, when that person comes into your world, what process do you have to uncover what is important to them? What are you asking them, Danielle, when they
Oh, I'm
come
sorry.
in?
Oh,
Yep,
I
you're
actually
good.
did. I did have a video, and afterwards, yeah, I did ask her. I did ask her what her goal is, what her dream is, and she gave it to me. Then after all of that, that's when she said, "Oh, great, thank you," and then that's when the conversation went left.
Okay. So when somebody just ghosts or just leaves,
Mhm.
what is it that's missing?
I probably didn't really really establish a one-on-one relationship. I mean, I thought I uncovered her currency, but we didn't really have that one-on-one talk together, I guess I would
Nope, and
say.
you don't always have to, right? Because I've done group sales closes with people with never meeting them one on one. And my question would be, did you build rapport before you asked deeper questions?
Let me see.
Or did you go with asking deeper questions right away?
Well, I started with a couple of deep questions, but then that's when I asked her if she would like it was a video process that I normally do before going on to the next step. And then she said, "Oh, yeah, sure." And then she took a look at it. That's when she asked me about
Okay, so
the pricing.
question. And everyone here too, right? Your video sales letter, if you
Yeah.
haven't watched one of mine, watch and model exactly how mine is done. Not that mine's perfect, but it has a very much structure. You want to be able to talk about your perfect future
Mhm.
client and the kind of person that you're going to work with. You want to have a bit of rappel marketing in it. You want to talk about logistics and time frame and bonuses and promises, as well as what you require from them as a client. Like there's a lot that goes into it. And in there, you're going to share everything about your model and the logistics, as well as, you're going to share a little bit about rappel marketing, about the kind of future client, the kind of person you do work with, or the kind of person that is successful. And then in that, you can share the tuition. Did you share the tuition in within that video?
No, I didn't.
Right. Everyone here, you guys
Oh, okay.
all shy away from that. So when you don't share about that, what are you actually saying?
Hmm. I guess I'm not given a boundary.
You're not giving a boundary. What happens when we don't set boundaries with people?
You're not leading. You're not being a leader.
Okay, keep
Yeah.
going. And when we don't lead in chat, when
Yeah.
we don't lead in our sales process, what are we saying about our leadership in our coaching, consulting,
Mm.
etc., etc.?
Mm.
Come
They may
on.
think I might not, sorry, I can't even speak. They're thinking that I may not be able to lead them to their dream, the
Okay,
currency.
guys, I want everyone to hear this, right? Not confident, Emily says.
No.
Absolutely. Because I want you to realize that your first job is for them to be able to borrow your belief. If they cannot borrow your belief and they don't see and they're not thinking, wow, they're confident, they're competent, that woman, I don't know what I don't even know what she's going to sell. I'm already buying. Like that's the feel that you want them to have. So if you're kind of shying away and not really being assertive and sharing a little bit, well, I kind of do this thing and it's like, it's this sort of the nobody wants to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Like I already feel nervous when people start talking like that. Anyone else? So the way that you do the sale is your first exposure for your future client as to how you're going to lead.
Mm.
Your sales process tells them what their outcome is going to look like. And when you're not willing to say out loud, this, you know, because guys, remember, if like I have a system that brings in 1,400 leads a month. So if you have a system, something that's going to be 3 to 5,000 or 10,000 or 50,000, you're going to be okay. So we don't fixate on one person. You don't fixate on your conversation. You hold it lightly. It's like, I help people this way. I am diagnosing to see if I can help you this way. This is my price, like it or leave it. This is what I offer, and this is your return on investment. If you're very clear and confident on your results and what you do, are they going to have a transfer of belief, Danielle?
Yes, they will.
They will. So what's really going on?
Mhm. You have a lot to think about.
Right?
Yeah.
You're still learning how to position
Yeah.
the value you carry in a way they can receive.
Mm.
When sales become safe, people say yes. When you feel safe with what you're creating and you hold it, I call it gentle gloves. Everybody put
Mhm.
gentle gloves in the chat. Right? Anybody been in a relationship where you feel like somebody is like holding on to you too tight and they're too needy? And it could be anywhere. It can be any kind of situation. It can be parent relationship. It can be a dynamic in work, or no one wants to be in that environment. Right? This is why the wealthy get wealthier, because people can sense that you don't need them, that you're genuinely showing up to help
Mhm.
her. So homework, Danielle. You're going to take a look at, so team, we're going to send one of my PDF outlines and my sales video to Danielle to have a look at the structure and to come up with your PDF. Now, a Google Doc, depending on how well you guys show up on
Oh,
in chat, and I'm sorry, on video, you may want to stick with a PDF outline. And your PDF can share about your model, can share about the whole process of your offer. And I want you to do that in the next 24 hours, Danielle.
okay.
I want you to have that state of readiness. Okay, share your takeaway, and we got to move along.
Definitely, there's a lot that your sales process takes a lot. I mean, your sales process is important because it unveils what their outcome is really going to be like. And leadership, I never put the two together with the sales process before.
That's okay. That's a huge breakthrough for you, girl.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you. Guys, put some love in the chat for Danielle. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
lovely. So good to see you. You bet. So I want to share with you guys, and we're going to wrap up a little bit about, like, this is my model, and I have it, of course, a little bit more expanded, of course, but this is the model I use inside the Sell More Offers Challenge. So if you haven't been a part of the Sell More Offers Challenge, say I want to know more, you can message me. My team can put the link in the chat as well to join. Okay, that's coming up in just over 10 days. This is how we take everything I just taught you and make it repeatable, sustainable, and scalable. Somebody put repeatable, sustainable, and scalable. Who doesn't want those things in their life? So the model I use is connect, and then we uncover the currency and we invite. This is more of a simplified model of it. And when we connect, we lead with presence. We slow things down. We have a calm authority. We're not performing. We start listening and we build real trust. When you uncover the currency of your client, you want to listen to the details of what they're saying to you. You ask better questions. This will help you to be so much better in your marketing. You find out what's really at stake. You make the invisible problem visible. You're handling and loving on them with gentle gloves. You don't pitch, you invite. So this last process is inviting. You guide them through the step into what they already want with clarity, safety, and leadership. So which part of this model do you want to grow in? Is it connecting better? Is it uncovering the currency? Or is it inviting? And I would say inviting with a calm authority. We all are looking for someone who has a calm authority in our lives. Not manic, not out of control. We want consistency, sustainability, and scalability. So this is how you shift from forcing the sale to creating space that becomes easy. Sales should be effortless. Someone put effortless in the chat. So let me share a little bit before we close, right? If you're building a business right now, I want you to realize it's not a hobby. Someone put not a hobby in the chat. It's not a side project, but this is a real legacy. This is why having a price point that is higher allows you to really take the time for self-care, self-education, leadership, mentorship, exercise, and to be able to have sales calls with people that value your oil and that are listening and that are going to do the work. This is another aspect about the sales process. When you show the leadership and you take the time to uncover their currency, there is a 60% higher success rate when they implement, because they already feel seen and heard and understood, and they're going to follow through. Who wants clients that you don't get any chargebacks? You have clients that are high retention, clients that do the work, clients that are successful that you have testimonials about. So you cannot avoid learning how to sell. Selling is a skill set. It is a skill set. It is not something you rush. And it's kind of like, okay, I've done the marketing, I've done the posting and all this. Okay, I'm just going to rush through the sales part. No, we're going to slow that part down. Avoiding sales skills is the most expensive thing that's happening to you right now. Every time someone says, I need to think about it, and you don't know how to guide them through with love and leadership, you're losing income, impact, and confidence. You lose confidence. We don't get confidence. You know, my daughter and I were talking about this yesterday. You don't become confident just by, she said, I don't feel confident if somebody says just declaring things. I was like, you're absolutely right. You can say all the Bible verses all you want to your mirror. But the more competently you have skills and show up and have results, you're going to feel confident. We get an amen in the chat. Sales is not about manipulation. Sales is about maturity. It's about stewardship. It's about being safe. And a certain leader, in the moment your client is considering change, like your leadership starts the moment you're in that conversation. So I'm going to ask you some questions. What would shift in your business if you didn't fear sales conversations? That you were absolutely comfortable about saying, well, it's $100,000 to spend this with me. What if you could guide people through the belief they need before you ever talk about price? You guide them all the way over. Maybe it's 6 or 7 things. Maybe it's 10 things that they need help with. What if you guide them through all of that? Do you think that price will be an issue? Yes or no? Price is never the issue. There are people who genuinely are not going to be able to afford, but most people will figure it out. Say figure outable in the chat. Price is not an issue. You get to determine what your price is. Sales is a skill that funds your calling. Sales is the skill that funds your calling. Sales is the bridge between being broke and creating legacy. So now it's time for you to master it. So here's what to do next. Option 1, join the Sell More Offers Challenge. We'd love to see you. It is live coaching where I walk you through step-by-step sales process, just like you saw with Danielle. We do an hour of that. Everybody gets an opportunity, 5 days for the whole week. You don't want to miss that. That's VIP. And we help you to create a sales process that feels aligned, is profitable and powerful. No more walking away with yucky feelings, right? You don't need to walk away feeling like, oh, I was really pitching and I feel like I'm pressuring and I'm convincing, instead of uncovering everything. The sales call, by the time you get them there, they need to already be at a yes or a no before the sales call begins. They know everything and everything's already been overcome. So during the Sale More Offers Challenge, you're going to walk away with a high converting offer, messaging that speaks to the heart, belief-based objection handling, and a repeatable way to close high-ticket sales offers without pressure. The other option is if you are ready for that 10-minute call and you are like, I know this is the area I'm just needing the most help in. There is an application process. Team, you can put the link in the chat and in Facebook, but heavenhansons.com. I have an application process for each one of my programs, whether it's my VIP or Boardroom, the Kingdom Sales Academy, Born to Influence, or to attend any of our worldwide retreats, which we'd love to see you there. But let me leave you with this. You don't need more tactics. You probably don't even need more leads. Now, some of you may be just getting started, so that may be. But if you have 100 people in your inbox, if you have 100, 300 people in your group, you don't even need that many. If you have 50 people, you need to learn how to uncover what your clients need to think and believe in order to buy. You need to know how to build trust. You don't need more leads. You need to know how to have more meaningful conversations. So let's build from that place. I love you guys. I look forward to seeing you in the Sell More Offers Challenge. I'm going to hand it back over to Matthew.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach Heaven. And thank you everyone so much for being here. That was so amazing. So yeah, Sell More Offers Challenge is happening on the week of the 21st. We would love to see you there. More info in the link in the chat. And the next masterclass will be next Thursday. Same time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'd love to have you there as well. There'll be more details coming to you soon. But yeah, that's all for right now. And I hope you all have an amazing